talking shit. These things are 2,500 pages. All right, these things are like stacks. You know,
Well,
Congress has
like
one day to read it, vote on it. Yeah, right, my ass. But
well, like that burn pit registry thing. When he got to the very end of the form today, it just said, thank you for participating. So it's like a study. It's like they're trying to put together all the demographic of, how many veterans are woodworkers at home in their garage and they having respiratory problems from, sawdust. How many of them, are exposed to this now that they've been out for a while. And this is a problem. And you and I, we talk about this all the time between like active duty and reserve. It's even worse for your reserve component soldiers because half the time they're like, even when you're getting out of the military, like after 20, 30 years, they're like, oh, well, what did you do on your civilian job? Did you get were exposed to loud noises? Or, well, I worked in a bank for 20 years or whatever. And they're like, oh, well, you were exposed to money dust or who knows, you know, the sleep apnea thing, it's like, how many of us had sleep apnea when we went in the military? None, right? Because you can't get in with sleep apnea. How many of us have sleep apnea when we leave the military, whether we're guard, reserve, active duty, or whatever branch? Prime example, if you're a guard or reserve soldier, like I was for a long time, I worked a night job. So every drill weekend, I had to flip from working nights to working days. Every time I went on AT for my 2 weeks or my 1 month or whatever they had it be, I had to go from working nights to working days. Then back home, had to go back to working nights from working days, which guess what? Leads to sleep apnea.
yeah,
But then they say, well, you weren't diagnosed on active duty by a military doctor, but they consider your TRICARE doctor, if you're using the TRICARE for the reserves, to be your military doctor. But then they don't accept that as a military doctor diagnosing you with sleep apnea.
I my sleep apnea was pretty easy, man. I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of went to the Shreveport. They did my little sleep test. They woke me up like 2 in the morning and said, "Hey, you're done." I was like, "What?" They're like, "You're done." Dude, I went to sleep like 4 hours, 5 hours ago. They're like, "Yeah, we've seen all we need to see." They're like, "You're done. You can go
Yeah.
ahead and go." Well, thanks for waking me
Well,
up. Hey, is there? Can I finish sleeping the rest of the 8 hours, or this is why my shit's so messed up. I
yeah.
appreciate that. And I went to the casino and won $300, and I went home. But that's
Yeah.
another thing. I was in Shreveport. That's where my now I'm in Dallas, VA, not Shreveport, VA, but I was transitioned, and that transition was monstrous. That was hell in a handbasket trying to get medical records moved, and I'm like, dude, put the bitches in a folder and send them FedEx or whatever courier that
Mm-hmm.
you got to go and get them here. It's not that hard. Once you get them here, open the fucking package and put them, beep, W. This is the last name. Da 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 da. Here it is. But
Yeah,
most
but
of
you're
it's
using
supposed to be
logic.
electronic anyway now, but you still get paper records, and I can understand why. But I that's weird. But with your psych and all that other stuff, that's not going to be in your medical records. You actually have to special order that because it's all that
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, luckily I don't have that issue, but
You're welcome.
thank God. But yeah, there's a lot of nuances in the system depending on which direction you're going to and from. I mean, those of us who retired during COVID, our retirement was extremely abbreviated during COVID because it was like, here's a video, watch this. That's your retirement. Have a nice day. You know.
Right, but
And now that was my experience, and I was retiring from the reserve at that point. I don't know what the active duty people got during that time. I have no idea. But I know for guard and reserve, we were supposed to go to a site physically and be there for 4 or 5 days on orders and be able to walk around and think about asking questions. By the time I thought about asking a question, it was too late. because it didn't last that long. And I'm old and I forget stuff. But I think we definitely need some more input. I'm glad you got in contact with the lady about the PAC Act and all that, because I don't really understand it. Like I said, I was trying to read through some of it, and I was just like, man, this is a lot to read, and not real sure what direction I'm supposed to read it.
Yeah, because even in the abbreviated text that I was seeing, there was like stuff about humane animal treatment shit, and I'm like, what the hell does that got to do with me? You know, I mean, and then now everything has to say land, air, sea, or space, because apparently the Space Force, you know, with the new Guardians. Dude, did you see the uniform, bro? It's straight off of fucking Battlestar Galactica. Oh my God. I was like, shit. I hope the general's uniforms looks like Spaceballs. Seriously, I hope their concealed carry as a fucking lightsaber. Okay? Come on, bro. Yeah. The Space Force. Bitch, we can't even afford to land on the moon. Y'all are borrowing a rocket from SpaceX to land on the moon. Okay. So you basically just said everything we've done since 1969 when the first man stepped foot on the moon. Okay, from there was supposed to progress forward. This dude has an engineering degree out of his basement that he built rocket fuel and patented this shit to propel y'all special rockets. This shit can't be that hard, dude. You should have done had us to Mars, Pluto, and everything, but no. Instead, we got to spend more money on Medicaid, insurance, taking care of everybody else, but the American veteran and the American people. But that's just me, and I'm gonna shut the hell up about government, because if we're gonna get monetized,
well, I find it amazing. You and I talked about that the other day offline, that they want to cut $12 billion out of the budget, and they're looking at doing that by doing this mean statement thing with the veterans benefits. And that's the approximate amount of money we've given.
Oh no, no. That's not the approximate amount. We've given them over $300 billion.
Okay,
but you can't give us $12.4 billion.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel sorry for the people of the Ukraine. I think they're being set upon by Russia, but it's not just our job to pay for it.
No, we're not the world's police force. We're not.
That's what everybody tells us.
I agree.
That's what everybody tells us until they need money.
You know, I'm not getting into politics because But did you see in the Military Times? Army Times, whatever it was. The Army Times said that the United States will be doing an Indo-Pacific training drill this year in Australia. So apparently they're building a platform that's going to be 1,000 feet long or something like that, 1,200 feet long, for ships to dock and
the temporary port facility.
Yeah, whatever temporary boat, whatever stuff that is. They said it takes like 100 soldiers. I was like, soldiers ain't gonna do that. Sailors are. Soldiers, unless we just the engineers start it on the ground and the Seabees take over.
Yeah, the Seabees will build that. That's something they specialize in.
But the soldiers on the back end, the engineers, will be building the roads going back and forth to it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, in reality, they're going to have Japan, Indonesia, America. They said troops from Korea, the 25th Infantry Division out of Hawaii, and I think a few others are going to be there. But I mean, they said it. If you look at it, the way they're preparing and the way Taiwan and everything is going on with China, it doesn't look good. I mean, it's like we're prepping and Nobody's doing a damn thing about it. Like the government's just like, we're gonna go to war because we're fucking broke and we're gonna owe more people more money because when we're in, we're gonna finance everybody's bullshit. But anyways, that's just it's talking about the government. Something's gonna have to
Yeah.
give, man. I mean, that's just the tension is just already so high, and it's not just the United States right now. The tension's so high. You got China. You got North Korea just launched another ballistic missile into the sea to see how far they can get it if they can fucking try to reach us. And they said they're fixing to expand their nuclear defensive capabilities. Okay, defense my ass.
Offense.
You're gonna fuck around and find out. Y'all got about another year left of that idiot in goddamn Washington. That is the most anti-military son of a bitch I've ever met. Forever having a kid in the military. But I mean, apparently there was something I was reading, and one of them got kicked out of the military for like cocaine or something. I don't know. But anyways, it's just one of those things that I think that the political climate right now and the billions and billions and millions of dollars that are going to try to indict Trump and try this election shit. It's done. It's in the past. Leave it the fuck alone. If he wants to run again, let him run again. If DeSantis wants to run, let him run. If y'all have people in places that have been there 40, 50 years, the shit needs to change, bro. Because if not, I mean, we're stuck. And it's kind of like some of the VFWs and American Legions I've been to that the older guys are stuck in the old politics. And I'm seeing stuff when I was even in the VFW, they're like when last year it was like mandatory that you have to have a Facebook page. I was like, bro, this is 2022. What the fuck? We ain't got a Facebook page 15, 20 years ago. What, this you expect young vets to get out and find you just in this back corner somewhere on a Yellow Pages or Google with no online presence. But the recruiting's bad, just like the Army recruiting's bad or the military recruiting's bad. Nobody wants to join the military right now, and it's bad because I was even online, and me and my buddy Josh, we play a lot. There was a young kid online with us, and he straight said, "Fuck the military, fuck veterans. Y'all went over there for oil and this, that, and the other." And I was sitting, I was like, bro, you have to understand when we were told this, and this, and you gave an order and you executed because you're the fucking bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. You were being told
you don't have to
orders.
You don't have to agree with the reasons for it.
Yes, because you signed that contract. You signed a contract that absolutely says, "I."
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul. How's your week, buddy?
Hey.
But yeah,
contract that said I'll volunteer to give my life for this country, and at the same time, here you are saying,
let's go.
Yeah.
But I understand what these young guys are saying because everything's starting to come out to light about what we wove war for and why everything's made up and this, that, and the other. And I mean, yeah, that's politics and conspiracies and all that. But people are seeing it.
I know.
Younger generations are seeing it. Seeing their dads and their grandfathers and their brothers and their uncles and their nephews struggling from the shit they seen and did and went through in Iraq and Afghanistan.
And their aunts and their sisters now and their mamas.
Aunts, sisters, yeah, hell, all of us. Male, female, we're all veterans, hell. They're seeing it. And they're seeing how hard it is for us to get our benefits and how little the government gives a fuck about the veteran. Just straight up. Like, I was watching an thing the other day, and they were talking about they haven't had a discussion on the House floor since 2016. about any policy that has went across because of the fucking backroom deals. And yeah, where's the veteran at? Why aren't you over there talking about, hey, this is the PACT Act, this is what it's supposed to do for our constituents, instead of, hey, we're just going to pass this for the veterans, so they'll shut the fuck up. We're going to give them something because they gave us a little bit. That's basically what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. Shut up. You're taken care of. Now we're going to go spend more money.
Right.
That's the way the government is. I mean, you got homeless people out there that $300 billion that we sent to Ukraine, that they're asking for more money for ammunition. The most corrupt country in the world has already $300 million plus our Abrams, plus the fucking whatever the other one was that Germany gave. What was it?
The Leopard 2.
Yeah, the Leopard 2 or whatever it is. All kinds of damn MiGs come out of there and all sorts of stuff for airfare, drones, giving them all kinds of stuff. But here they are asking for more money with their hand out. The most corrupt country in the world. $300 billion? Bro, that's all of Russia's defense budget in like a lifetime.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you need that for? I don't think Russia's had that much in their budget since fucking World War II. Just straight up. It's ridiculous. But we got people out here with their hand out trying to ask for money to get something to eat, but you give them $20. Hell, they can't even buy a damn carton of eggs. If we're going hungry, we're gonna give everybody else money. We're gonna take care of everybody before we take care of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, you sure are pretty down there. How's your week, buddy?
Man, it's halfway done.
So you've only got
today's Wednesday.
Inches in so far, or did you sit all the way down on it so far?
What now?
So you only got the first 3 inches in so far?
I haven't worked my way that far yet.
It'll take time.
I've got to have goals.
You know.
Look at it this way: it's Wednesday. It's only 4 more days till Monday.
Jesus Christ. Speaking of Friday, I think, Greg, I know I talked to you about that veteran. I want to say, y'all need to be thinking about this guy in your thoughts and prayers. Friday, I'm riding a funeral with CVMA. One of our brothers, his son, is a veteran, and he went down. And they had to make a really hard decision, and he passed Sunday. So he is our brother, and we are riding and honor him. And his other son came in, and he was in, and he called his dad, and he said, "Hey, Dad, I know you're at the hospital, but I'm feeling really bad. I need to go to the ER." He went to the ER. The guy's active duty military, Fort Bragg, I think, Fort Campbell, somewhere over there. And I think he's either 101st or 82nd. I don't remember. But either way, he came in and went to the ER, and they put him in a coma because he had a 500 blood sugar. So, like 8 or 9 years active duty military, healthy as hell. All of a sudden, found out he got diabetes. So, it's been a long road for these guys, and we're riding them. And then next Wednesday, there is a Medal of Honor ride I will be participating in from the airport to I'm going to escort them up there. So they'll go up and go to their museum and place like that. And we get to see them and meet them and stuff like that. So that's going to be really good, really cool. I'm going to try to get out there with the camera and try to get some photos and maybe a couple of videos and something like that. Put it out there for us guys. But yeah, I'm gonna talk to him about the PACT Act, because the PACT Act, to me, I'm reading it and it says addendum to this section here, but when you go to look up the previous whatever act, it says look up the previous act, and then it just gets lost. So I'm not taking a rabbit down a hole. All right, this isn't Alice in Wonderland. We're just not going to do it.
Well, this is one of those cases where we need other veterans who are watching this, who are going to communicate with us, like the two, the gentleman that I've been talking to today and yesterday that have messaged me and stuff. We need more people out there to start reading this and breaking it down, and bringing the commentary so we can put it all together.
I will be posting links to the VA Congress, the Congress actual link straight to the thing, to the actual bill and law or whatever, and let y'all see it. I'll put it down in our Facebook group, YouTube, all of them. We'll have it out there so y'all can see it and let y'all kind of read over it. And I'm going to get with the specialist and have her kind of explain everything to me and that kind of give me an overview exactly, break everything down of what it's supposed to be and what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to help. How we're supposed to help the veteran, basically, what we're here for, right? And I think we're going to try to do a couple series with them and everything. And we're going to have some administration changes.
Hey, Jared, I'm just going to interrupt real quick. There is an ungodly amount of information there's no rabbit hole to go down for your shit. It's all over Reddit. If you haven't taken a look at the app, I just got into it maybe 2-3 days ago.
Okay.
So much info.
Okay. So if you don't have Reddit or you don't know what Reddit is, it's a cool little forum. A lot of people talk about what's going on. It gives you a lot of information. If Paul, if you can find that, can you send me a link to that forum?
I'll do it.
Thank you. And we'll post that link to that forum so y'all have it for the information that y'all guys need. It'll also, with these guys, a lot of them are VSOs. So they're like service officers and other things. And they break it down for us to make sure, how it benefits us, how to word it, how to set up all your stuff, your benefits, everything else like that. Reddit's a really good source. There's other YouTube pages out there. I think I mentioned. I think I've got links to them on our page. I know Combat Craig was one, and Veterans Info Tap, I think, is another one that I've got on there. And I have another couple guys that are going to be coming on. A couple Patriots veterans, just want to talk and hang out. Just be a pain in our ass like we are theirs. Basically, because I've bugged them all with questions and stuff, trying to learn monetization, and I'm learning the thumbnails, and now I'm learning PACT Act, and I've learned new information a day and new source streams and other stuff. So everything is going to be coming a lot bigger, a lot faster than we thought it would, and we are trying to get interviews and some other stuff lined out that. Once we can start getting our streams lined, we'll be good, and we can start being a lot more better on the information we're putting out to you guys, because we don't just sit here and talk and get together. Me and Greg get together a lot. Hell, he called me on the way home from work today, and then I talked to him. What was it? 2 days ago. I mean, we communicate every day on via Facebook, text, whatever, because he's like, hey, what are we doing this week? Where we need to go? Hey, I got
some veteran contact.
So we do have people reaching out to us, asking us questions, and we absolutely love it. If we don't know the answer, we are trying to find it out, or we will send you the link to somebody that does know the answer or can better direct you.
Well, and with every question that we get from veterans, it gives us new ideas on other avenues. Once this thing gets taken off and monetizing, ways we can help other veterans, and ways we can not only help other veterans, but as veterans try to help the country by helping our military as well. The way we go about it with the veterans, and mixing the veterans with the young troops and the young wannabe troops and could be troops. It's very important, guys, that we, especially right now, kids in America, they don't have a lot of direction, and the direction they want to go generally doesn't involve the military. And less military weakens the country. You can take that for whatever political outlook you want. And I was talking to my son, who's an active duty Air Force guy, today, and he was telling me that they're really starting to have this. It seems like there's, the people in the active duty now, and we talked about this the other day. When I went in the military, I was always told, you are not better than any other citizen in America. You're just apart from that citizen because you now have to follow a higher standard, right? You have to do everything a certain way. They don't. And my son was like, what he's seeing now is people that are in the military now trying to look down on the rest of America and go, well, you're not like me. You're not as good as me.
No,
some are, some aren't,
no,
it's just
and
like
I was talking
else.
to Brian earlier about that. He had a older veteran, and we were talking about the podcast. I was like, hey, I got to go get on the podcast here in a little bit. I was just kind of talking about some issues and stuff, and who I was. He kind of lets me vent, and I'm like, man, I've had conference calls, and oh my gosh, I've taken in so much information, and I feel like my head's going to explode. You know, I'm waiting on my new
Mhm.
glasses to come in because they said, damn, Jared, you're getting old and you can't see nothing. So I
Your little
haven't been as
short butt's
much
gonna look like
time.
Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, I haven't been on much time on the computer as I should have because it hurts my eyes. So I don't really do it much, but I will be getting on sooner or later. But he told me, we were talking about that, and I told him he had a older veteran, and I told him, I was like, man, he lives alone, and he just had to put his dog down. That was 18. He had for 18 years, and he's just an old single guy. And I told him, I said, man, look, if you see him again, give him my number and tell him, if you call me and I ask what the hell do you want, tell him that he has the right number, okay? And tell him that who you are, and or that you
Mhm.
sent me. And I was like, I don't mind talking to them older guys like that. I was like, man, I'm tired. I have nothing to do but sit and work on the podcast and talk to them guys. If I need to ride out to Fort Worth and see him, I mean, that's an hour ride. I'll go out there and I'll get me
Mhm.
something to eat. Now, or hell, I'll take him to eat. I don't give a shit. He's an old veteran. Those guys. I said, and he told me, he's like, let me see you next week. And I said, that's good. When you see those older people like that, and you always tell them, let me see you next week. Because people like that are old and single and have lost their wives, they've lost, they just lost their pet. They're losing everything, and they're having a hard time processing that. And I've got to get in contact with this other lady. She was actually a geriatric life coach, and she talks about older people suicide and stuff like that. And I'd love to have her on here for that because of the Vietnam era generation are getting older. So we are looking at that, but it's one of those things. We are getting to the point where we have to start looking at the older guys and slowing slowing down their suicide rate because it's high. It's really high. I mean, I understand, there's a lot of terminal illnesses and stuff like that because I've been through that. Okay, my dad was there, so I know what it's like watching somebody suffer and watching him suffer and stuff like that. So it's pretty rough. It's hard to
Yeah.
talk about. So, anyways, it's just one of those things that we got to watch out for the older communicate, older dads, as younger
Hey,
dads,
Jared,
and
I
even
hate to do it, man. I'm gonna interrupt. I gotta get. I gotta go pick up my kid. I got as much time in as I can.
you're good, brother. I
Okay.
Thank y'all,
appreciate your
man.
help.
See you later.
Later.
All right, brother. Be safe. But so what we're gonna do is uh watch out for the older vets because they're the ones that's going to be, they need to be taken care of. They need to be watched for because them guys they watch for us,
Mhm.
and they
Well,
watch believe it or not, the older guys have a lot of influence in the younger generations of veterans, and they see what's going on with this younger generation, and they try to teach the history of the military and the discipline and everything else. But these younger guys, man, they some damn knuckleheads. I was a knucklehead, but whew, these guys now, I don't know how these drill sergeants can't put their hands on folks. Mm-mm. Nope, not me. That first one that told me to go to hell, that son of a bitch slide across that drill pad. I know.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm saying is now is the time for veterans to try to bring together the younger generation. You know, I mean, the young officers, most of them are, ROTC graduates and that kind of thing. They've got a little more invested in it.
Right.
But I think your junior enlisted people would benefit greatly from contact with older veterans, just in the sense of somebody who's been there but ain't there now, so they don't have to worry about it, getting back to their commander or their NCOIC or whomever. They can just call this older veteran and develop a friendship. And because like you said, a lot of these older veterans, they're by themselves.
Yeah, and I've even thought about some of these nursing homes. I know they had problems with COVID, but now that COVID's, down or
Yeah.
whatever, you might still have to wear a mask or whatever. But I thought about going up to these little nursing home right up the road here, and you know, maybe an hour a day, or a couple days a week,
Mhm.
maybe 2 days a week, 3 days a week, go up there and sit and talk to a veteran, or just sit and talk to a couple people. And even if I,
Mhm.
you know, take my GoPro or something and record it, or just
Mhm.
listen to the stories and the life these guys have had growing up in the 40s, and what they've seen to compare to now, and how it's repeating, and the mistakes that's going to be made, and everything, because people don't
Well,
understand there's so much wisdom there. There is so much
yeah.
wisdom there, and
I,
you got
I
to tap your sources.
and I agree with that, and experiences and just the stories that can. Prime example, people that are gone now. When I was in high school and junior high, where my mother and I lived in some apartments, there was an older couple that lived just a couple of doors down from us. And the older gentleman, he was always out and about doing stuff, and got to know the older gentleman. And he was a retired Marine, and he was in the last Marine cavalry division to retire their horses. And they rode their horses. He told me the story of how they rode their horses from Fort Bliss, Texas, to the port at Houston to put them on the ship, because they shipped them all to South America.
Huh.
And they had like a formal last ride from El Paso to Houston, and did a turnover ceremony to turn their horses over. And he got teary-eyed about it, because he was a cavalry guy. That was his job.
Yep.
um and it's a lot of that can inspire young kids, not even necessarily to go in the military, but to start getting back to respecting the traditions of our country, the history of our country, which is currently trying to be erased. um and it's going to cause problems if we don't maintain that history.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about social problems. I'm not talking about political problems. I'm talking about readiness, retention, and recruiting problems.
Oh, that's gone.
It, you know,
Hey,
and
there's
I'm looking at all these base name changes and all that, and I agree. We need to bring all of our heroes online, but we need to respect what was already there. Yeah, some of these bases were named after Civil War, uh, generals and colonels and what admirals and whatever. But the thing is, it was done out of what we were supposed to be taught in the military: respect for your enemy, right? If you don't respect your enemy, you don't respect yourself, and you don't respect your own country if you don't respect your enemy. That's why America does what it does when we go to war. and a lot of people don't agree with it, where, you know, we don't go Old Testament and just wipe out a whole town, right? We try to wipe the enemy out of the town, keep the town alive, keep the culture alive, keep the people alive who aren't there to do combat with us. Does it cost us in blood and treasure? Yes. Is it worth it in the long run? Yes. Because in the long run, all the losses we suffer will turn into gains if we do it the right way. And right now, with what's going on in our country and the way it's affecting our military, is we're suffering losses that will never turn into gains. It's like in football, you know, sometimes you got to take a penalty just to get yourself in the right field position.
Well, yeah, no. I this whole cancel culture, man, I don't even know anymore. It's so ridiculous how all this stuff is just blown up crazy, like stuff, statues coming down that people made thousands of dollars, paid thousands and thousands of dollars to put up, you know, and,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Now, if you start erasing history, it's doomed to repeat itself. And nobody wants slavery again.
Nope.
So why erase it? It has
And nobody wants
to learn from,
nobody
move
wants
on from.
brothers and sisters fighting brothers and sisters again,
No,
right?
no, and it's nobody wants. For most part, nobody wants to fight. Nobody wants to fight.
Not
Nobody
amongst
wants to
ourselves.
lose
No.
lives. Nobody wants all the war and all the drama and all that shit. And it's getting to the point that they're gonna have to make the decision, because it's hell to have peace without war. That's
Well, you can't.
exactly, you have justice and injustice. You have war, you have peace.
Yeah, you have widely scattered darkness broken up by widely scattered light in the morning every day.
If you don't, and the only way to have peace is to be able to win war. If you can't win war, you'll never have peace because you're always going to be run by somebody that does not agree with your beliefs and culture, moral, whatever, what else going on with there. But anyway, back to the fact. We went down the rabbit hole and we shouldn't have. We always do. Politics, Like
I think we might just need to name this thing Veterans Rabbit Hole.
We could, yeah. Let's just do the rabbit hole, shit. We're always going down it. But no, we've had guys talk about why aren't y'all doing disability videos? Why aren't you doing disability videos? There is so many guys out there doing disability videos. I am not that guy. If you need help with your disability, there are so many free sources out there. I'm not trying to target that audience. Okay. Like I said, you got Combat Craig, Veterans Info Tab. There's hundreds of them out there. I'm here to let you know what's going on with the VA, the PACT Act. I'm getting information from these guys and ladies and people that are helping these veterans, these advocates, the CVSOs and DSOs and all these guys. You know, we're watching videos and just learning as much as we can about everything and trying to keep you up to date with what's going on. We happen to go off on a rabbit hole about politics and everything else, but it's like I told Brian earlier, we served selfishly. We signed our names to a contract that said we will die for our country and the orders that we are given. Now, older vets, they just need to have a need to be here. Okay. So when you see an older vet, tell them you'll see them later, stuff like that. I told him that was a good job, but it's veterans have to feel like they need to be here, like they are needed. They always have a purpose that we want to give, we want to give, we want to give.
We're purpose driven.
And we, yeah, and we always have to have a mission. Me, ask my wife. I can't sit still longer than I sit on this computer for 30 minutes to an hour. I'll go get up, go outside. I'll go play Xbox, come back in here for 30 minutes, go outside, sit on my phone for 5 minutes, come back in here, go outside, mow the yard, come back in here. I cannot sit still to edit a damn video. So my editing skills are horrible. So if anybody knows a video editor that wants to come on board, let me know. You are more than welcome. Just, try to get us monetized and make it better, like better imaging, because I need a better video camera too. But we will be doing lots of interviews. We do have a lot of people we're trying to get on. I do have a friend of mine. She was one of our people. She was actually my job fair that I hosted for veterans, and I'm hoping Veterans Talk Shop. Maybe we can discuss something about getting a virtual job fair for like national companies or putting together a national company for hire heroes and stuff like that. Maybe put them on our site so you guys can see where you can go. Well, we're just here to dispense information to veterans and bullshit and have a great time. If we take off,
This is a place to talk to each other back and forth, trade information.
pretty much. And I would
So,
love everybody to be more active and interactive and be like, "Hey, man, I know this about the pack day," and be like, "Hey, let me send you an invite. Come on and talk to us." I have no problem with that, especially if
or
you know.
if you hear about something new that has to do with veterans issues that you haven't heard us talk about or you haven't seen it anywhere else, and all of a sudden you heard about it today, let us know. Hey guys, this thing came up, because the one thing you're going to learn as a veteran about learning how to maneuver with the VA and the government is that you have to talk to other veterans,
Now,
because most of it is discovered by accident.
you're right. And discovered by us doing what we're doing, going into the detail of the documents, breaking it down. Hey, do you know if you say this, this, and this, you're automatically this? There's your trigger words. You say this, this, and this. I have done this, this, and this on my claim. They look at it, they look down there, and they're like, "Oh shit, okay, give them 100. That's 100% for that thing, and then that other elements, whatever." So they'll do their little calculation thing, because I actually have a Word document I will put on our Google Word documents. I will share it with you guys. It is the new conditions that it goes under. Um, this is for Vietnam veterans and Gulf War and Iraq, Afghanistan, newer veterans, younger veterans. It has a list of all the cognitive conditions that's supposed to be on there, but uh, supposed supposed. But we will get that out to you guys for that. There's going to be a lot more links coming up for information. We do have an information page that we are putting together. That is a live doc on our group that you can go to. I will share that with our business page, so that way they have it. And if they have any more information, people can just come on and put it on there. We can be done. You know, so that way everybody has it. I know there's like United Way, the new 988 mental health crisis line. And if you are a veteran in Texas, there is a new thing called Tex Vet. Actually, one of the guests that wrote that book of transitioning is working with Texas A&M on this program. It is uh, a program basically for veterans information. So you got everything for their property taxes to let you know that if you're 100% disabled, da 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 da, all the way down to your education benefits, events that's going on, news. There's actually providers there, Veterans Crisis Line providers, and it's supposed to be an app coming out for us that we can download. And she was talking about how uh, used it is, how under utilized it is for Texas veterans. And I told her I would put it out here and see what we can do, because I'm going to go download it, because it's absolutely great. It gives you all different kinds of resources out there. And you don't have to call the crisis line for mental health services, guys. I mean, there is so many people out there that will help you guys, fucking call me. My email's down there. Send me a text. Send me a message on my little group here. Send me one on my personal Facebook. I always have my phone with me for the most part. I don't always check it, especially when I'm playing Call of Duty. New season 3 dropped, so I've got a lot of grinding to do on Call of Duty. Everybody knows that plays, but anyway,
And if they
better.
message me or get a hold of me, I generally answer within an hour or two and say, at least say, hey, I got it. I'll look into it. Or, I
And
try to give intelligent answers when I can. That's asking a lot of me.
now here's the really cool thing about me say, I play Call of Duty and I say I'm a veteran and I talk about podcast, hey, my podcast, this, that, and the other, and my videos and blah blah blah, my channel. So far, I met one guy. He's a 13-year-old. He's not 13-year-old. He's a 13-year veteran. He was in the army. Went in during your time frame, 86, I think it was. He said he went in at 86, and now he's out 13 years, medically retired. Blah 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 blah. And me and him were talking because he worked at Cintas and I worked at Aramark, back in the day. Everybody knows, and so it was kind of weird that me and him started talking about that stuff on Call of Duty, and got him over here to this and started talking about it. And I've met so many veterans just by saying, hey, how you doing? But you'd be surprised what you learn about people and veterans when you say something to them, even though we're assholes. What the hell you want? What the fuck you want? That's just the way we are. But if you really sit down and be like, "Hey man, look, I'm a veteran too. I was just going, hey man, come here. We can talk. Come on, brother. Come on." Unless they're really in a pissy ass mood and don't want to, and are very uncomfortable in the situation, which I have been, and my wife knows, and she'll go into all that because that was one hell of a fight all the way from Grapevine Mills down to my house, which is about 45 minutes to an hour. It was,
Well, just quit being an ass and you'll be all right.
that's not gonna happen, especially when I'm in public and I'm not comfortable. I just want to leave. But anyways, you know how I am.
Yeah, I know how you are.
I don't like people. I don't like stupid people, especially. But anyways, guys, I appreciate everybody joining us. Greg, you have anything else, buddy?
No, just guys, keep the messages coming. Let's make this thing move and try to figure out more and better ways to use this platform to help each other, to help the country, to help our branches of service that we care about, and all those good things. We as veterans, we have a purpose always, and that purpose is to keep trying to make things better.
We gotta make better for the future veterans.
Yes.
That's pretty much what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it easier for future veterans to get their benefits, to get everything that they deserve and that they've earned, just like every other one of us. So, and I say that, and I know Greg, I've talked to somebody, and he's like, "Man, look, I'm just National Guard. I was only National Guard for like 4 years. You're still a veteran."
Yeah, you signed the dotted line, you signed the blank check.
And if they call you up, you got to go anyway. You're going to go.
Yeah.
You're going to be deployed. I mean, look at Iraq. How many damn Guard and National Guard and Reserve units did we go through having them rotate through to support us? I know we had a fueler unit out of Rusk County, I believe it was, out of Texas that went. And then there was an MP unit down there.
Well, and the other thing you got to remember, historically, if you look at the U.S. military, historically, about 83% of the people in the military come from military families. Our military is generational. Generally, if a child comes from a home where neither parent was in the military, they're probably not going to be in the military most of the time. If they have at least one parent or one grandparent who was in the military, they're more likely to join the military.
Or an influential aunt, uncle,
or an influential, person in their life. But if they come from a family where nobody was in the military, chances are they're not going to be in the military unless they're forced to be.
My dad was in the military. My grandfather was in the military. It's like a generational thing for us. There's actually a photo on my phone that was he's supposed to be like some back cousin that we are actually look like twins, and he was a West Point uh graduate, and he fought for the Union, and he was a major, as I want to say. But anyways, that was back in the day, and I was like, they showed me a picture. I was like, no, that dude ain't my twin or nothing. Amazing,
Well,
but it was really
I'll
cool.
give you guys a quick dad story, military wise. Is my whole family's been in the military, right? My dad, my mom, my stepdad, my grandfathers, all the way back. And I always just thought that was part of my life. That's what I was going to do. And as my kids got older, when I had kids, and they started getting older, I always told my kids, hey, look, it ain't for everybody. If you don't feel it's right for you and you don't have to go, I understand if you don't go. It's not a requirement, right? It's a privilege. It really is. And that's why when people tell me, thanks for your service, I always tell them, thanks for letting me, right? Nobody had to give me a job for 30 plus years, but you did. Thank you. And when my oldest son was getting ready to go to college and he wanted to go visit colleges, and I'll tout the college. First place he wanted to go visit was A&M. And he always said he was never going in the military. His stepdad was in the military. I was in the military. He didn't want to go in the military. And I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. Whatever you want to do with your life, as long as it's, healthy, wealthy, and wise, I'm okay. And I took him down there for the campus visit. And on the way there, he told me, well, Dad, you got to get a hotel and stay the night because I signed up for this night with the Corps visit. And I was like, oh, well, what is that? He goes, oh, I'm going to spend the night with the Corps cadets at A&M, which, by the way, for y'all who don't know, is the largest ROTC program outside of a military academy in the United States. And so I was like, all right, well, I don't understand why you're doing that because you said you don't want to go in the military. And so, but I stayed the night down there, and the next morning I had to pick him up about 10 o'clock. And the boy came out with this big cheese eating grin on his face, and he got in the truck, and I just started, driving. I said, hey, what are we doing? He's like, can we go get something to eat? And I said, yeah. So we get almost to this little restaurant, and I pull in the parking lot, and I said, so what did you think about that last night? And he looked over at me and he said, Dad, some member of our family has been in the United States military since this became a country. Actually, since before this became a country. And I said, yeah. And he said, I'm not going to be the one to break that cycle. And I'm not a big emotional well most of the time, but that was one of them where I had to kind of turn my head and be like, okay, son, thank you. That's a good deal. You go on inside now. I'll be in there in a minute. So yeah, it's generational. And if you look around the world, it's always the same. Great Britain, it's the units are generational. If your great granddaddy was in the Lightfoot 27 or whatever it was, that's where you're going when you go in. That's where they're gonna put you.
Well, that's like, just like people in their colleges and their alma maters, they want them to go to Ole Miss or A&M or whatever for their kids because that's where they went. And they want them to join this sorority or this frat because they're a legacy, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Same thing with us. Same thing over there.
Yeah.
Like my son wanted to go in the military, and unfortunately he broke his femur when he was younger, being drunk and dumb, and I was okay with it because he was gonna get his welding degree, and now he's out. He's got a baby and doing his thing, and he's taking care of his business, and I'm proud of him, very proud of him, because I got a picture the other day of him and my grandbaby laying there, and that was the best thing in the world. It's just like you created that, and he created that, but you don't have to change. That's diapers. When it cries, it goes back to that, not to here to there. So it's like greatness. It's like I can make you mad and I can walk away.
Yep.
But anyways, man, we've been on for an hour. We appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm fixing to go play on Call of Duty. Catch me. See you guys later. Y'all have a great weekend. Greg, if you need me, buddy, call me. I'll be in touch with you probably tomorrow morning.
All right, man. Have a
All
good
right.
week, everybody. Bye.
Y'all have a good one. Bye.